Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa alihi wasahbihi ajmain. Alhamdulillah. Today, inshallah, we're going to discuss about the Great Women series. There's going to be benefit for all of us. Benefit to understand what's the role, why they become the great women in Islam, and what's the role and what is it for us, in woman or husband or man can take a benefit from it, inshallah. There's hadith from Rasulullah SAW when he mentions about there are 4 women that have achieved who have achieved the level of taqwa. One of them is the mother of the wife of Pharaoh, which is who responsible to raise Musa alayhi salam. The other one is Maryam, the mother of Jesus, mother of Isa alayhi salam. And then the third one is Khadija, and we're going to talk about today, inshallah. So this is the Jibril alayhi salam. One day come to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was talking to our Prophet, and he said, here's Khadija will come, and then she will bring some food for you, and please convey a salam from her Lord, which is Allah, and also give the glad tidings in the place in Qasab, right? So this is the Jibril alayhi salam mentioned that there will be no noise, no trouble, la saghab, and fihi la nasab. So again, this is one of the benefit, one of the blessings of Khadija Radhi'Allah, that she was given a glad tidings that she has a place in Jannah, in the paradise. And this is the first person ever been told that she's going to get Jannah. All right. Khadija Radhi'Allah Anha is one of the mothers of the believers. If you see from Surah Al-Ahzab, An-Nabiyyu awla bil mu'minina min anfusihim, the Prophet is much more worthy than the believers themselves, and his wife was wajuhu ummahatuhum, and his wife is considered to be the mothers of the believers. So that's why the notion, the terms, the mothers of believers come to all the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All right, today, inshallah, we're going to talk about 4 things. We're going to talk about the family and the lineage. So in order to understand the lives of Khadija, we need to understand how they lived during the time. It was mostly around 1400. Before that, it's probably 500, 600 AD. And at the times, people live in the tribes. Everything is around the tribe. There's no sort of community. There's no big sort of government yet, but there's all the families and the tribes. So people live in the tribe. Let's start with the first one, the family and lineage. So Khadija is the poor Quraishi. As you can see here, she met with Rasulullah SAW with the 4 or 5 generation. And you can see here, this is, I don't know whether the pen's going to work, is the Bani Quraish is in here, and she's from the tribe of Bani Asad, while Rasulullah SAW is the tribe from Bani Hasim. So, but she's a pure Quraishi, and her mother is also Quraish. All right, this is going to be a little bit complicated. Just bear with me. This is going to be interesting, actually. Because they're all tribes, right? So this very easy. So someone married the cousins, and the other person's married the uncle of the daughter of the uncle. Is quite common in there. I just want to share with you some of the immediate family members of Khadija Radhi'Allah Anha. Number one is, if you see here, Khadija has an uncle by the name of Nufail, and he has a son by the name of Waraqah. Waraqah is known as a priest. At the time, he's a Christian priest who believed in the Christianity, or absorbed the Christianity, and he's the one who confirmed the prophethood of Rasulullah SAW. And it's recorded in Sahih Bukhari, where he actually mentions, "O Muhammad, you are truly the messenger of Allah. That was after Rasulullah came down, after Jibril came down with the revelation, and he told the stories with Waraka. Waraka confirmed that, and he says he called Jibril alayhi salam is Namuz. That is the Namuz who came to all the prophets before you. He's actually confirmed. That's why I put him as a Radhi'Allah an, because he actually accepted Islam as well. The second person I'm going to talk about, which is the nephew of Khadija, which is Hakim bin Hizam. Hakim bin Hizam is a quite unique person. Hakim bin Hizam had a very close relationship with Rasulullah SAW, and he's the only person who, in the history, who was born inside of Kaaba. So he was born inside of Kaaba. Hakim did not embrace Islam. He was known to be very popular among Quraysh. He's but he never have show animosity, never fought anyone. So he refused to go the battle with the Muslims at that time, and he embraced Islam at the last when the conquer of Mecca, and he embraced Islam during that time. And then, as I mentioned to you, he's one of the nephew of Khadija radhiyallahu anha, and there's one narration about, you remember the hadith about the upper hand is better than the is actually the hadith was actually Rasulullah was talking to Hakim at that time. So during the battle of Hunain, and when Rasulullah gave all the booties and the people asked they give and the people asked they give, and at that time Rasulullah gave advice to Hakim, or Hakim, so the hands on how is it, the hands on the upper hands is better than hands on the lower. All right. Another nephews of Khadija, which is Abu al-As. Abu al-As actually ended up marrying Zainab, which is the daughter of Khadija. So it's common to have between cousins, right? And then another relationship which is quite interesting as well. Khadija has a brother by the name of Awam, and Awam is married to the aunt of Rasulullah by the name of Safiyah. So Safiyah is the aunt of Rasulullah SAW, and she's married to Awam, which is the brother of Khadija. They had a son by the name of Zubair bin Awam, who later on married Asma, and Asma is actually the sister of Aisha radhiyallahu anha. So it's all intermarriage between here and there. So just going to give you the idea who they're married to, right? So this very common at the time. So it's nothing new, nothing strange. This is commonly practiced during that time. All right, I just want to tell you, Khadija radhiyallahu anha was married twice before the marriage with Rasulullah SAW, and there's different narrations, 3 children or 4 children. The first one is Abu Hala. Abu Hala was actually, he's not from the Quraysh, and he's probably from other tribes who come very, very rich and live in Mecca, and then he passed away. That's where all the wealth and the humongous treasures and everything actually be inherited by Khadija radhiyallahu anha. And after that, she got married to another person by the name of Atik. He's from Banu Makhzum, I believe. I need to get my note. I cannot put my note in here, so I have to put separately my note in here. Yep. From the Quraysh, Banu Makhzum, and they have a son. And Hindi and Hala is quite unique. Hind is actually can be a male names, can be female names. How do you know this is male and female? I use a different color. For pink is girl, so Hind as in Hindun is coming from actually the word India, right? It's beauty, related to beauty. With Rasulullah SAW, they have all 6 children together, 2 boys and 2 sons and 4 daughters. This is, and believe it, right? Believe it or not, the order of this, the different narrations, which are actually Fatimah the last, or Abdullah the last, or so on. But it's actually the order is more. There's more historians put this order as Qasim being the first one, but then Qasim died at a very young age, and then Zainab, Ruqayyah, Kulthum, and Fatimah, and the last one's Abdullah. Abdullah also died, I think, in the age of 6 or 7 or something like that, and this is where the enemy of Rasulullah SAW is actually making fun of him and is actually getting happy, and Abu Lahab even throwing a party And can you believe that someone can be very showing animosity like that, but at the death of a small child, people having a party. This is the shows how, and Abu Lahab is his uncle, right? And this is again how the animosity is and how people wanna really hate Rasulullah SAW at the time is just amazing. Just to think about that, and imagine this what we're not talking about Rasulullah SAW this time. We're talking about Khadija, right? But going through all these ordeals and pains and how people treat them and everything is actually what Rasulullah SAW felt. This is what also Khadija felt, especially as a mother, right? As a mother. One of the things happened as well when Rasulullah declared prophethood. Two of the daughters of Rasulullah SAW, which is Ruqayya and Kulthum, were already engaged with the two sons of Abu Lahab, and because of this, they annul the contract, they annul the engagement. I think the even the second son would they even I rejected Muhammad, I rejected his message, I rejected his daughter. So up to that level and announce it to everyone. And again, you can imagine someone who's a small tribe. They are supposed to be together. They're supposed to help each other. So the animosity they had to be among them. People who reject Islam is just beyond comprehension. And all this is actually so painful to Rasulullah SAW, and is actually painful to the mother of the believer Khadija as well. Some of the notes I have in here. And Abdullah, when he died, everyone making fun of Rasulullah because he has to use two sons, and his sons no longer there, and it says you are cut off, right? Abtar. And because of that, Rasulullah was feeling sad, and the Surah Al-Kawthar was revealed. Inna a'taynak al-kawthar fasalli li rabbika wanhar inna shani'aka huwal abtar. They're the one who abtar, who actually cut off from lineage. But if you think about it, right? Every time someone said Ashhadu alla ilaha illallah, and then followed after that Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, people will mention the name of the Prophet, right? When people making azan, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu alla ilaha illallah, people will mention Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasul. So his legacy is actually continues and continues until the end of the day, until the end of the life. And if you think about azan, right, every single spot on earth, right, there's always time for prayer, right? Because as the earth moves, there's always times of prayer, and there's always Allah's name is mentioned at the same time. Rasulullah SAW also mentions Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, right? Okay. Ooh, so it works. This one is work. So this is a family and lineage, and before Islam. So who's Khadija? Khadija, as I mentioned earlier, as she inherited a lot of wealth, and from the previous husband, she became very rich, and it was unparalleled at the time. Someone, especially at the traditions where man actually become dominant as a male dominant society. It is very rare to see a woman actually have a big wealth and treasures like that. So a lot of historians believe it was from the first husband rather than the second husband. The second husband is from Quraysh. If he passed away along the Quraysh, then there will be the male heir will take all the wealth and everything. And because the first husband was not from Quraysh, and that's probably from different, so probably they didn't know this. And again, it's just speculations and based on the historian, they got the wealth. And it actually took a great courage for a woman to run a business, and especially she couldn't go to Shams and to make the trading everything. She has to hire someone to do that. And how she run her business with her limitation as a male dominant society, it has definitely to take someone with the brilliant intelligence and know how to run business, how to deal with men and everything, right? So again, that already put her at a different status, a different status. How can she evolve with her business, strive with her business, and actually even grow the business and so on. And there was a narrations about how she's not being really happy with the people making business with her, because she cannot run the business herself, so she need to hire someone. So she need to hire someone to go from Yemen, and then after that to Sham, to do the trading. But because I think the business manager that she hires is probably not really honest person, and because of that, she's in search of some to hire someone to. And then Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam took that opportunity. It was actually Abu Talib, his uncle, because at that time Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam still lived with his uncle Abu Talib. Abu Talib came to Khadija. Khadija, I have my nephew here. He's good and everything. He's honest and everything. And at the time, Khadija has already heard about Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? Because everyone knows him for being a Siddiq, right? Someone who's very trustworthy. And then they will do the first trip together. Just probably a little bit quick on the how they do business. You know, when these days when people want to start doing business, the first thing they think about is going to the bank and have some loans, right? And it's actually in Islam, the solution for that is something called mudaraba. Mudaraba is where you have the knowledge, you have the time, and you ask someone that give you the what do you call that, the capital, the money, the investment. So someone who is investing, someone who has the skills and the time and the knowledge to run the business, right? And that's mudaraba means you have to split the gain, but you have to split the loss as well, right? So if you, for example, let's say you agree of 80-20 after you run the business for 1 year, whatever happens to be, and then whatever the profit, then the investors will take 80% and the business manager will take 20%. But if they lost, right, the investors will lose all the money and the business managers will lose all the times of 1 year and whatnot. So everyone's like different. When you go to the bank always wins, right? So if you got money, they want it, all right? If they lose, they still want it. So it is not fair in Islam. That's why the joint ventures like that is considered haram in Islam, because you actually what do you call this, a profit sharing, but you're not loss sharing, right? So I just want to have a quick discussion on that. Khadija Radhi'Allah Anha hire a servant by the name of Maisara, and he asked Maisara to follow Rasulullah, and you observe him and follow him, and report to me what he did. And he came back and he told Khadija how amazing, how beautiful Rasulullah dealing, all the business dealing, the conduct and everything. And if you look at the books of Sirah, a lot of stories about but some of the stories, for example, they found someone and they come to how you become the prophet and stuff. I don't know whether you heard this before. This is a bit problematic. So yeah, we'll come to that later on, inshallah. All right. Oh, oh. Where am I? Okay. The marriage with Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. After hearing from Maisara how different the business conduct of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, how he deal with do the dealings and everything, and not only that, they actually come home with a lot of profit, right? So is this the first time someone has to bring benefit like this, and Khadija radiallahu was very impressed with Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And not only that, there was narrations where Hala, her sister, was one day uh, asked someone to, what do you call that, if someone take you a shepherd, right, shepherd, and do the shepherd, and after that they says, okay, after you do this, one day come and pick up the money from me. And it was Rasulullah with one of his friends, and it was just two of them, but when they come back, they only one of them is, and where is your other friends? And Rasulullah did not come to pick up the money. Where is he? I want to give the money to him. No, he was a bit shy with women, right? And during that time, no one shy with women, right? So, and that Khadija radiallahu heard that from her sister. So she's already having some attention to Rasulullah. This is a good conduct, he's a very polite, very nice person, smart businessman, right, and honest. And then started thinking of marriage. He consulted his uncle Waraka. Waraka, being a priest, is a very old man, and he's very wise. And he asked Waraka about what his intention. I think he's a good guy, he's a good person, and you go for it. And the thing is, how do I start? If I want to get married to this man by the name of Muhammad, how do I start, right? And then it was actually her friends by the name of Nafisa noted that it seems like you have some inclinations toward this person, right? So I talked to him. Oh, please don't talk to him. I can probably just, you don't talk to him, and I'll just probably make sure I'm not gonna make it explicitly and so on. So Nafisa came to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I just, of course, do it intelligently and nicely. And why are you not married? I don't have money. I don't have enough money to do this and to do that, and especially this. I don't know. Just something like that. What about if someone wealthy and someone smart and someone has a beauty and stuff like that, and keen to get married to you? Then who is that? Right? It's Khadija. Well, of course, if it's you want it, of course I want, right? And Nafisa came back to Khadija, and this all started, and Rasulullah agreed to that, and they started about having to continue to the marriage. All right, it was his uncle Abu Talib. I just want to have a quick note in here. Abu Talib, who's Abu Talib? Abu Talib to Rasulullah is almost like a father, as a father figure. So after the passing away of Abdullah, Rasulullah was with his mother Aminah, and then after that with his grandfather for 2 years, Abdul Muttalib. And then after the age of 6, he started living with his uncle Abu Talib. So Abu Talib is almost like a father to him. And the love of Abu Talib showing to Rasulullah is almost amazing. And if you heard a phrase, well, I love this more than my own child, right? And Abu Talib is actually did exactly that. So wherever he went, is always our Rasul is always with him. Whenever we come back from trip or something, where is Muhammad? Where is Muhammad? Because the love and affections of Abu Talib to him. So it was Abu Talib actually came to Khadija's family, and they talk about the dowry. The dowry 50 dirham. Try to calculate it. Probably this time is about 3,000, 4,000 Hong Kong dollar probably, right? So I don't know what's the traditions back in Indonesia back then 80s 90s. The dowry is it true with O or with A? Dowry.
Yeah, it's correct.
It's correct, right? Back in the day in Indonesia, the dowry they make it. For example, there's just like a prayer mat, right, as a dowry, right? It's like what, $100, $50, right? And Rasulullah Sallallahu was actually about a $50 or 4,000. So I'm serious, not big amount of money, but yeah, it's good amount of money. It's not too cheap as well, right? And the wet nurse of Rasulullah, Halimah to Sa'diyah, Khadija was very happy. So Halima is actually the mother because of the what do you call the mid mother? Yeah, wet nurse. Some people call it wet nurse. Some people call it. Is actually it becomes your mother. It's almost like your mother, right? She was very happy and gifted her 40 sheep. I remember when I typed sheep, and I forget to and I put S, and it says I got removed the S. So it's actually the plural of sheep is sheep as well. All right, and during the day, right? Slavery is common, right? So, and it's not about the slavery itself, but how you treat slaves. And during the time of Rasulullah, a couple of things about slave. Number one, the slave, they have to eat, they have to wear the same as you, right? If you give them tasks, make sure you can do that as well, right? One of the things in Islam about slavery is, if the slave asks you, right, the owner, that I want to know my price, please give me certain amount of time, I'll pay it off. So as a slave owner, you have to say yes, So it is you cannot, of course it is like a property at the time you can sell and buy at the time, but there is, because it was a socially, it happens like that, and Islam does not demolish it but actually rules it, right? Of course, how big people become at the time, like I said, it was tribes. So one tribe, they have a war with this other tribe, and all the men died in this tribe, and all the children's and everything become the slave. This is how it is. And then nowadays, you cannot find a reason for someone to become slave right now, right? So because of the society and everything is different right now. All right, and Rasulullah SAW finally moved to the house of Khadijah, and apparently the house of Khadijah is probably quite big, right? After that, so after from the house of Abu Talib, and this is probably, and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam spent the whole time of his dawah time at the house of Khadijah. Right. All right, I have to scroll. Is my note in here? Okay. So, who's the family members at the time? It is quite strange, actually. One of the son, Hind, from the previous husband. But the thing is, if this person, Hind, actually lived the house of Khadijah, there should be narrations about him. But it's almost very, very minimum narrations about him. It's nothing. It's almost non-existent. There was just a small reports about him involved in the battle of Badr and Uhud, and died in one of the battles, I think the Battle of Hunain, and that's it. There's no other stories, no other narrations. It's almost not existence at all. The second one, Rasulullah SAW has a slave by the name of Ayman. Is a slave, but Rasulullah called her mom or mother, Ummah. Why? She was originally the slave of Abdullah, the father. After the father passed away, it became the slave of Aminah, right? And I think the word slave is very hard to, because our slave is, so the word is a Western connotations and not necessarily. And if you look at the histories and how slaves are being treated and so on, and if we say Abdullah, actually the slave of Allah. Do I need to close this? Or you should remind me. But the audio is okay?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Test. Bismillah. Okay, it's too heavy, bro. Where was I? Ayman. Okay. The Ayman, after she became the slave of the mother, which is Aminah, and Aminah passed away, and automatically become the slave of Rasulullah SAW. Where is Ayman from, actually? Ayman, because there was a story that she was actually from the army of the people of the elephants. Alam taro kaifa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Remember that Abraha, right? So they bring the army. Abraha, or is not originally from Yemen. Of course it comes from Yemen, right? But it's not originally from Yemen. It's actually from Abyssinia, which is Habsi, the Ethiopia right now, right? So because because their troops lost, and all the children and everything, and they become the slave of the people of Quraysh at the time. So they have, and Ayman, she was about 6 years older than Rasulullah SAW, right? She was, and she became the member of the family, and she got married there was not enough narrations about, and she gave birth to the person by a son by the name of Ayman, so it becomes Ayman, and then the husband passed away, and after the husband passed away, Rasulullah SAW announced that who wants to marry a lady of Jannah, right? So who wants to marry the lady of Jannah? Let them marry Ayman, and then someone raised his hands, and none other than, which is our third person, which is Zaid bin Haritha. Who's Zaid bin Haritha? Zaid bin Haritha was the slave gifted by Khadijah to our Prophet. He is not Abyssinian slave. He's actually Arab slave. He was abducted when he was playing by some of the people and took to the market, and it was common at that time. and then and they purchase him and to become the gift to Rasulullah SAW. And there's a good story about Zaid bin Haritha. Zaid bin Haritha is raised in the house of Khadija and Rasulullah SAW. And when about a few years after he was kidnapped and become a slave, and his father and his uncle actually heard about him in Makkah, and they came to pick up Zaid, and then found out he's actually the owner of Zaid was actually Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he came to Muhammad, and I said, so can I buy my son back to you and from you and so on? Me, I'm actually the father, his uncle, and so oh yeah, the father, uncle, they remember each other. But then Rasulullah SAW was very sad, but asked Zaid, and Zaid says, no, I'd rather stay with this man. So you can imagine how Rasulullah treated him. And probably one of the things we want to do, we want to learn how Rasulullah actually treat children in his surrounding. Everyone that being touched by Rasulullah SAW has become giant. Oh, my battery is off. No, please, no battery off. All right, who's next? Ali bin Abi Talib. Ali is a very young child at the time, and Abu Talib was not really well off. In fact, he's actually quite impoverished. And it was a kind gesture of Rasulullah SAW come to Abu Talib. Let me just raise your son. You've been kind to me, and so on and so forth. I think we have a big house here, so we'll just come and he's actually raised Ali there. So there's 4 of them at least, and the 6 children that you saw before, the 6 children of Rasulullah SAW. All right, so it was probably a big, blessed, happy house, put it that way, right? All right, the first revelation. So far, I think I forgot to put the footnote before this, right? Because there are not actually a lot of narrations about Khadija Radhi'Allah anha. There are not so many. There's a very snippet here and there, especially women at that time, and the people not recording. At that time, no one knew that Rasulullah will become a prophet and start narrating the hadiths or something. Some of the story of Khadija is actually Rasulullah told the wife, and then some of the stories that we're going to hear today is actually narrated by Aisha Radhi'Allahu anha. All right, so what happened? Rasulullah SAW started to experience strange things. Right? There was a hadith in Bukhari when he said, I remember I was walking somewhere, a rock say salam to me, greeting me, right? And he was actually what happened here, right? And starts seeing strange things and start having dreams, and then finally actually become true, right? So it is, I think, the way of Rasulullah SAW being taught by Allah to be confident with his dreams and getting ready for revelations and so on. So probably is a tarbiyah from Allah to for him to start receiving revelations. And during that time, this is where Rasulullah SAW start having seclusions to cave here. I don't know whether you've been to Mecca before? You've been to, no? So may Allah makes it easy for you to visit. Ameen, Rabbul Ameen. So right now, I think from Kaabah to Hira, I think there's already nice pave and everything. Is probably if you walk, probably take about 2 hours solid, right? Probably during that time, if you really probably walk, probably 3 hours, 2.5 hours. So it's not really that close, and it's actually quite high as well, right? Quite steep, and this is where Rasulullah SAW spend time and spend night in there, and Khadija will come with some food, and after the food finished, Rasulullah will come down, and he come down, make prayer, and then stay in the house for a few days, and they come back again, right? And this is sometimes it's probably around 2 years, about 3 years Rasulullah has been doing that, right? Why? There are 2 things. One, because the things that he start experiencing, right? But I think the most common reason why was he was not really happy with the people around him. There's a lot of cheating going on. A lot of people oppressing the poor and everything is not probably, he cannot relate too much to that, right? So that's why he feel a little bit, so he wants to retreat and go to the seclusions of Iraq. Yeah. But again, it was the conditions of Mecca prostrate to Rasulullah SAW. That's why he went there. But I wanna stop here. I wanna analyze this. This is gonna be interesting because not many stories about Khadija, right? But story about Khadija in this era is actually quite big, and then we start wondering what is it is actually, what's really happening, why she became the greatest woman on earth, right? Why? And I used to give a class about to the Indonesian sisters about how to become a good wife, right? And if you go to Amazon right now and find a number one selling book, it's probably 20 years ago, I think. I don't know, 16, 20 years ago. Can't remember the name, but his name is Emerick Erickson. Emerick, did I write it somewhere? Did I write it somewhere? No, probably not. His name is he's a psychologist. He wrote a book, and the title of the book is Love and Respect. And that book right now, last night I saw it on Amazon, is about 3,200 5-star. I think 4 or 5-star. It's quite mind-boggling, right? And this is one of the famous book about relationship between husband and wife. And the title of the book is actually Love and Respect, and then the subtitle of that, the woman needs love and the husband love respect. Right? So, and it is, if you think about it, right? You're married, right, brother? Yeah. If you think about it, right? What Rasulullah SAW did, actually, it is probably atypical, right? Even not bizarre, right? You leaving the house, stay in the cave, and there was no lighting at the time. It was probably pitch dark, and staying the whole night, 2 days, 3 days, and come down again, pick up some food and go back again. If we compare it to nowadays, what will the wife say? What would the wife? What, sweetheart? Can I go again? Again? I mean, like, where are you going? Come on, are you out of your mind or something, right? Right? And it is not like a nice place. It is dark. I don't know what kind of animal is that. It's just completely dark, and it's not fun at all. And then you're doing it over and over, like almost 3 days and 4 days, and then come back again just to wash and do some food and then come back again, right? If you think about it, and this is where the respect of Khadija come into play and beyond imagination, right? So the book actually told you about how a man actually crave the respect from the wife, that he can do everything, right? So one of the titles when I give the lectures about how to become a good wife is how to turn your husband into a lion, right? And it's really about respect. It's like a simple things, right? Oh, the tap is broken. Let me fix it. Don't fix it. You fix it, it's become broken again. There is not a word of respect, right? It's actually shoot the husband down, right? If you, see, this is where in this, like a workshop, I teach our sisters on how to deal with husband like that. But if they fix it, it become broken. Let it go. If you fix it, become broken, he learned something. But the idea is not to shut him down. The idea is to bring, because he is craving. He's the makhluk of respect, makhluk of craving of respect, right? If the person that inside his house, which is his wife, cannot provide the respect, where you can find the respect? If you find that respect, the husband can become. That's why I think Brother Adil put the footnote about this talk is behind a great man there lies a great woman. It is. It is not a. Is a role. The role of Khadija is not like spreading Islam here. No, she's actually behind that, giving a moral support. Abdullah bin Abbas said, nothing that people of Makkah curse Rasulullah, refute Rasulullah, and prosecute Rasulullah SAW, and make themselves mock him and everything, except that he came to Khadija, and Khadija give him comfort. Right. So it is the comfort of why all these four women is being mentioned. They're all raising prophets, right? And the wife of Pharaoh raising Musa alayhi salam, Maryam raising Isa alayhi salam, and Khadija Radhi'Allah quote unquote raising Rasulullah sallam. She's become the wazir, the what's wazir, the advisor and the best friend of Rasulullah sallam, right? So it is amazing. So that's why I put undying, unparalleled support from Khadija Radhi'Allah. So that makes Rasulullah become a great prophet because Khadija behind her, right? All right. Yeah, I put a not love and respects, but I didn't put the but if you love and respects on Amazon, you can see his name right away, and there's so many books and so many comments about that, and about 3,000 last night about 3,225, 4.8. So it's probably most of them 5 stars, right? And I don't want to tell about the story of Iqra. Everyone already know about that. Iqra bismi rabbikal ladzi khalaq khalaqal insana min alaq. This is when Angel Jibril came. But there was an aftermath that after Rasulullah was given this ayah, Rasulullah running down home, running from the cave of Hira to his house. As I mentioned to you right now, if you walk nicely, it's about 2 hours, right? And he came down, right? And he's actually looking for Khadija. Cover me. Zamiluni, cover me. And he said his heart beating severely because of the experience meeting Angel Jibril. And if you imagine this, right? Someone running for 2 hours, and still his heart beating very hard. If you get shocked or surprised, right? Probably after 5 minutes, half an hour, probably you already come down, right? But also after 2 hours, coming downhill, is still beating severely. And as in one narration, he even put his thigh next to Khadija's thighs. He's actually needing physical comfort, physical support from our mother Khadija. And cover me. Put blanket on me. I'm so scared, right? And even Rasulullah, he said, I was so scared. And who he came down to, who did he ask to give comfort to? Is our mother. So cover me. So a couple of notes. I found some narrations about that the experience that Rasulullah went through after 2 hours of having this, right? And he says, if this happened to us, if it happened to just normal us, right? We could have had a heart attack of meeting this because it's severe, sort of is beyond out of this world. You don't see angels every day, do you? Right? Especially it's the middle of the night and someone push you like this and say ask you to recite something. All right, the comfort. I quote Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. He said, "Mali, what happened to me? What is happening to me?" Right? And this is not back probably last year or 2 years ago. Someone came a prophet in Indonesia. He's a barber, all right? And then he claimed that he's a prophet, and then he announced that I'm a prophet. Jibril came to me, and it was the way he talked, like, and the police came and arrested him. right? And then Jibril came to me, and then so on, right? And if you look at other people who claim to be prophet, who claim to be receiving the message from God, look at them. It's like the boss, the mic and everything. I am the prophet. So some look at this because the experience will not be something in this world, right? And because he said, "Mal, what happened to me? What happened to me?" And he also said, "Laqad khasitu." I'm so scared. Ala nafsi. I'm so scared. This is coming from the blessed mouth of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm so scared. This is hadith in Bukhari and Muslim, narrated by our mother Aisha, and it was as Aisha was told by our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Right, and this is our Prophet. Right, that means that experience is beyond this world experience. And it is the qadar of Allah that experience will be shared by Rasulullah with who? With Khadija, Radhi'Allah. Not only she share that, but she's actually become the comfort of Rasulullah. And how she respond to that? The two, three hadith about this. The way Khadija mentions, I'm actually shaking remembering this, right? It's about probably 6 or 7 the word from Khadija radiallahu, and which is actually a CV of Rasulullah sallallahu. How Khadija's comfort him? Never, wallahi, Allah will never disgrace you. See, this is the first comfort, right? So I wish in my class for the sisters about how to become a good husband, a good wife. I really emphasize this and how to comfort your husband and so on, right? Think about this, right? I just wanna, if someone say to you, psychology. I want to talk about psychology, but I don't know. I don't know whether my computer can last. If not, can we continue next week? Huh?
There's a charger there.
No, I don't have much. I left my chargers. No, this one, not this. This my.
Is it charged by? Oh, it's not charged by.
There's not. That's why people have. Microsoft has on proprietary. Yeah, what proprietary? Yeah. All right. Men, I'm just a little bit of talk about psychology. The men build bridges, right? Build walls, build big things, right? Men normally talk about big politics and big soccer games and so on. It's something big, right? Men never talk about there's a little bit something in what happens in the house, the shoes, and then they don't normally do that, right? I don't know, right? But normally I've been a man for so many years, so at least I know. They always talk about these big things and these things and so on. They don't talk small things, right? And it's very rare for men to talk about their feelings. Very, very rare. Talk about their feelings. If they do talk about the feeling, especially not about the feeling, this is about the weakness. I'm scared, Mali. I'm scared what happened to me, right? Especially talking about something sensitive, something you witness, right? You only do it with someone you love and trust. You only do that for someone you trust. And when a man already telling this, right, is probably at the lowest in terms of vulnerability. Is very vulnerable. You can imagine going back to this time now, right? After staying days and nights in the cave of Hira, our modern women probably this time are, see, I told you. Did I tell you not to go there? You husband, right? You can imagine, right? Because this is beyond, right? How many times men find comfort is actually not in the house. You know the word sakina, right? When someone getting married, people give you sakina and so on. The word sakina comes from the word sukun. Sukun means something that is something stop. The knife is called sikin sukun to make it stop. When you have a big turbulence outside the house, right? Your harbor is actually your house, right? The problem, when the minute you go into the house and lock on the door, the problem disappears. Because why? Because you see your wife. That's what one of the hadith Rasulullah mentions about the best woman is when the husband comes and become comfort to him, right? Oh, my computer died. Ah, died. I don't have my note anymore. Anyway, yes, and where was I? What's what I'm so excited now.
Psychology.
Yeah, psychologically, right? And again, it is again is a respect, right? Respect from Khadija that you'll be all right. Right? All right, Allah will never disgrace you. And she said few things. Number one, you keep good relations with your kith and kin, and then you always help the poor, right? And you always do good things to your guests. This is like a CV of Rasulullah, right? And not only that, you always help people who needs help. There's a lot of narrations, people, they have some tradings and whatnot, and then they lost it, some things, and they come to Rasulullah, so Rasulullah helped them so many times. And so many like people carrying some big baggage and stuff like that. Rasulullah help that lady carrying the baggage, and the lady says, the guy named Muhammad, don't go near him, and so on. And she kept cursing Rasulullah SAW while he was carrying her stuff, right? And then he always speak the truth. This is the whole Makkah know about this. And then you always help others people, right? You always try to do this. And again, how come someone with such nobility, no way Allah will disgrace you? Two things we can learn from Khadija here. Not only she knows how to comfort her husband, but her iman and faith is actually very high, because she knows someone with this good heart, right? Allah will not make it. Allah will not. Um, Allah will not disgrace this. Right? There's no point of that. All right. So Khadija is not talking only, right? After saying that, after comfort, okay, tomorrow let's go to Waraqah. Waraqah might know something about this, right? No, not like probably, go to doctor. No, I come with you, right? I come with you. And she came with Rasulullah to go to Waraqah. This is where he said that everyone that Namus came to, then all his family, all his friends, all his tribe will kick him out, right? So my people will kick me out. My people will reject me. Yes, because everyone. This is a history. So everyone has a prophet like you, then you will become the enemy of your own people. So this is a comfort and support of Rasulullah when he needed the most. And that shows you the psychological wisdom. I don't know whether there's a right word for that. And the emotional maturity of Khadija radiallahu anha. And that is sort of the platform for the comfort, sort of the platform for Rasulullah to grow when they needed the most. All right, that's before Islam. Just probably quickly after Islam. What is actually her role in Dawah period? If you look at Khadija actually passed away 2 years or 3 years before the Hijrah, before migration to Medina, right? So as if Allah wants, okay, this is the critical time and you don't need Khadija after that. Excuse me. And again, not many so specific narrations about her, other than the story that our mother Aisha told about how the supports and so on by Khadija radiallahu anha. And as I mentioned to you, Abdullah bin Abbas mentions all the rejections, all the persecutions, all the humiliations that Rasulullah went through, Khadija went through as well. Not only that, Khadija actually gave the comfort to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is, she's probably playing someone in the backstage, if you will, but it's a very important one, very important one. I mentioned the stories about the cancellations of marriage of sons of Abu Lahab. This is where, as a mother, right, your two daughters humiliated in front of public. This must be some big tribulations for Khadija. Not only that, her daughter Ruqayya has to go. We here is probably easier to say, oh, we go to US, we go to this, right? The time of Rasulullah SAW is not like people have been living on the same spot, on the same place for 20, 30 years. They don't like go around for shopping and come back, right? They don't do that, right? Not like us, go sightseeing, because it's not convenient, the language and everything, right? So having her daughter actually left for Abyssinia, and then there's no WhatsApp or anything that you can communicate with. This must be so hard for the Rasulullah, and again doing the boycott as well. The boycott at the time was probably the most difficult time. Is the boycott against the Bani Hasim, where you see Sahabas actually start eating some leaves and everything, and it's very big torture. I have few notes in there. I have to put my notes in there. Oh my goodness, I think it's a qadar Allah. I cannot see my note. I remember a few things that I should have mentioned. One of the things is, I remember 2 or 3 people who supported the Muslims at the time, even though they're not Muslim. One of them, Hakim bin Hizam, which is the nephew of Khadija, Mutim bin Adi. There's one guy, I cannot remember his name. They have not embraced Islam, but their support to morality, to kindness to other human beings is beyond. They even fought with Abu Jahal because I want to help them. How dare you give them a suffer and so on like that. But again, this boycott probably has a bigger toll to Rasulullah SAW, because just right after this boycott, and Khadija passed away, right? And that passed away was in about 2 or 3 years before Hijrah to Medina, and it was right after the death of Abu Talib. Think about it. I want to make a note on this, but I think the time probably not permits, so probably some other time. Why? And at the time was called Amal Huzun, which is the year of sorrow. Why Abu Talib was sort of a protector for Rasulullah from external, right? So people want to kill him and everything. He was actually protected by Abu Talib. So the protection from external is Abu Talib. In the house is Khadija radhi'allahu anha, someone who gave comfort to him and help him and so on. And not only that, Khadija was very wealthy as well, so the money to support the da'wah and everything. So you got Abu Talib. He is someone that he thinks is like almost his own father, passed away without embracing Islam. After the passing away of Abu Talib, people getting harsher and harsher with Rasulullah. They even planned to kill Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then no protection from the outside and not inside the house. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam lost the beloved Khadija radhi'allahu anha. It's easy for us to utter it, right? But if you think, you can imagine the feeling of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like the all Sahaba has been tortured. His protector, or his someone who stand on for him, pass away, and someone who love and give comfort at home also pass away. Like there is no one. If we believe that Allah love our Rasul, this is probably the biggest test of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And why is that? Why taking all of this comfort and so on? There is another narration, but this is probably more befitting of the story of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because after this there will be Isra Miraj. But then we cannot talk about, our focus is on Khadija radhi'allahu anha. All right, that's after Islam. There are not so many of that. In probably a few more slides, we talk about the blessing of just a few things first. She was known for wealth and status, which is something different. Is not common at that time. Someone, and probably beauty as well. There's a couple narrations is happen to be beautiful, and actually 2 narrations when. The age of Khadija when she was married to Rasulullah. Some people say 40, but there's also narrations, actually quite strong narration. She was actually 28 years old. Right. All right. Recognize the personality of Rasulullah SAW, because she actually desired to get married to Rasulullah because he saw something that is in Rasulullah, right? And again, good people attract good people, right? She was the advisor, the wazir, and the best friend of Rasulullah SAW, and spent all the wealth and life to support him. So he's all behind him. And this ayah Surah Tuha, what's how this is? Duha walal. I don't know. Ilan fa wawadadaka da wawadadaka dolan fa wawadadaka ilan fa akhna. And when you poor, Allah provide. Through who? Through Khadijah. So this ayah was actually about Khadijah radhiyallahu. So this is again the time of the Surah Duha, when Rasulullah SAW felt that there's no revelations after that. Rasulullah felt that he's being cut off and so on, and this surah came down as a comfort of Rasulullah, right? You were an orphan. We give you Abu Talib. We give you Abdul Muttalib. When you are poor, you don't have anything. We give you Khadijah. So this is part of the blessing of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to Rasulullah by this lady by the name of Khadijah radhiyallahu anha. Subhanallah. All right. She was not known for worshipping idols. So even though she lived around people with Jahiliyyah, the only wife of Rasulullah SAW until her death. So Rasulullah remained married with one lady. She did not marry others while he was still married with Khadijah radhiyallahu anha. So it's a blessing for her. First to accept Islam, I actually read a narration because she's the one who shows how to accept Islam and the first to accept to perform wudu, to the salah and so on. So all the people after her who perform wudu, perform salah and accept Islam, she will get the benefit because she started all this good deed and everyone follow. So you can imagine the blessings of Khadijah radhiyallahu anha. The first person who received the glad tidings of Jannah, Jibril himself come down just to tell your wife that his house already looked after, or something like that, right? No noise, no problem in there. Rasulullah SAW only got children from her, all the 6 children. Of course, he has also another child from Maria by the name of Ibrahim, but Maria was the milk. But the other wives, they don't have children. The source of comfort during difficult time. So Allah picked our mother Khadijah to become the comfort of our Rasul. So just because of Rasul, a big giant and everything, is it doesn't have. Yes, he needs comfort, and that's at the form of Rasul of Khadijah radhiyallahu anha. All right, I think that's probably about her. Exactly 1 hour and a bit more, 1 hour 10 minutes. I cannot make it exactly 1 hour. Then I have a lot of notes that I did as well. And Jazakumullah khair. Hopefully we have some simple questions. How are you, brother? Sister, probably have some comment, note, or anything?
I don't know. Actually, I'm not Muslim, so like.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
What is happening?
Oh.
But it's okay.
Okay. I didn't know.
It's okay.
Which part you don't know? So I sort of said.
No, it's okay. No, it's just like listening to a story.
Okay.
But there's a lot of terms that I don't understand.
Oh, right. I'm so sorry. I sort of, yeah.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. But you pick some part, right?
Yeah.
At least.
Just like listening to a story from,
Okay. I hope you benefit at least. Not many. Is it like I think a lot of phrases probably that I mentioned sort of probably if someone hinted me before, I could probably make it more generic. Yeah. Brother Mufid? No? Okay.
Wait, I have actually one question. So you mentioned about the role Khadija Anha played in
Yep.
the life of Rasulullah Sallallahu
So,
And if we were to look for someone like Khadija, of course we should first try or at least try our best to be like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, follow his example. Now my question is, so when it comes to looking for a spouse who shows, what are the characteristics of in a person can we look for that can best resemble the moral support Khadija Radhi'Allah has on people around him?
I think we have that discussions 3 months ago, right? How to pick up, how to choose a spouse.
But specifically, someone like Khadija, what traits do you think are...
In this case, Khadija chose Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
True.
Yeah, Rasul means prophet. Rasul means prophet. In this, when I say Rasulullah, means our prophet, the messenger of Allah. Oh, messenger of Allah. Well, that's probably a different topic altogether. But I just my comment on that. I do believe that, you know, when people want to go to bachelor degrees and everything, they spend time, they learn about math and they learn about a lot of things, right? But when people get married, right, and the marriage counseling is only probably 5 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. And I heard about there's one particular mosque in Indonesia where they have like a 2-week course before someone getting married and teach you psychologically as well and teach you how in Islam and everything, right? And there's a second book. If you go to Amazon.com, there's a second book that I really love so much about that book. It's by Laura Dole. The book is called Surrendered Wife. It sounds a little bit of not intimidating, is what do you call that, controversial, right? But it was actually a very good book. And one of her advice is in order to save marriage in US, kill all the marriage counselor. That's even she is actually the marriage counselor, because much of the marriage counselings, they don't understand the psychology of marriage, and it's all about, and it's actually almost the same as the book by this professor Emmerich, I can't remember his name, Love and Respect, that there's no equal between husband and wife. They are created differently, they have a different social need, they have a different biological need, they have a different psychological need. So they all come with a different way of dealing with that, right? And that's actually fit. If you look at how Khadija, her story is very minimum, but you know she's all behind it, right? How it support, and you can see now there's actually the moral support and everything. It's almost like she's the one who raising Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? If I can use that word, quote unquote, right? And how you pick your wife is completely different. That is probably, we need to have a different class for that. Brother Mufid, how you pick how you choose your wife. Yeah, I think that would be have a separate discussions on that. Yeah, but I do believe that society need to build that awareness that you need to learn to become a husband. You need to learn to become a wife. And how you going home is actually a comfort, right? Not coffee shop, not bar become your comfort. Someone having fun with their friends and comforts everything, that means they're not sakina. Sakina is actually move out of the house. Sakina is when you go to the house and you see your wife, right, and you find peace. That is sakina. That is comfort for you, right? And it's not easy. Shaitan wants to, the devil wants you to break marriage and everything, and it's not easy. So we have to learn how to become a good husband. We have to learn how to become a good wife, and yeah, it's all just about learning, I think. Have any other quick questions now? Okay. Thank you very much. Jazakumullah khair. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Allah is the one.